If not, please hold. We don't audio record calls to this helpline. For information about what we do with personal data, please visit our website at ico.org.uk/privacy-notice. Our helpline is for organisations, people who work for themselves, and for members of the public. Please note, we will treat all people with courtesy and respect, and we expect the same. If anyone behaves in an unreasonable way to our staff, we will bring the call to a close. To help get you through to the right team, please select from the following 3 options. If you know the extension number of the person you want to speak to, please press 1. If you're calling from an organisation, a small club or association, you're a sole trader, or you work for yourself, please press 2. If you're a member of the public, please press 3.
Press 3.
Here are your 3 options. To discuss an inquiry or complaint you've already sent to us, please press 1. To discuss a new inquiry or complaint with us, please press 2. If you're a whistleblower and are considering making a protected disclosure under the whistleblowing provisions of UK legislation, please press 3. To listen to these options again, please press the hash key. Or
Hash key.
to discuss an inquiry or complaint you've already sent to us, please press 1. To discuss a new inquiry or complaint with us, please press 2.
Press 2.
We're now transferring you to a member of our team.
Good afternoon, Information Commissioner's Office.
Yes, good afternoon. Can I ask who I'm speaking to?
My name is Hana.
Hi, Hannah. I'm a member of the public and I'm making a general inquiry in relation to making a subject access request under the Data Protection Act. Would you be able to assist me? Well,
Yes.
as you're aware, I'm within my rights as a consumer to make subject access requests. Now, often when I make a request to an organization, one of the requirements that they have is to be able to verify who I am. And it is that aspect of verification that I require your further assistance on. With it, quite rightly, they need to verify who I am, but the amount of information requested by them, I believe, may constitute being excessive. For example, if I make a subject access request with an organization and they need to verify who I am, if they are asking me to provide 2 forms of identification, such as a utility bill or a photographic passport or driving license, I believe that may be excessive because they do not already hold that information. So, for example, if I go to, I don't know, any organization to make a subject access request, because they don't hold that information, I feel that providing that information is a further infringement on my data rights. And by all means, they have a means to verify who I am. So I just wanted to ask questions regarding the scope of what they required, minimum scope of what they required to verify who I am, number 1. And number 2...
So the organization... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry, that was number 1. And number 2 is that I know that I am permitted to make subject access requests orally, namely over the telephone. And under such circumstances, I would not be forced to give extra documentation. As you can appreciate, I don't want to be giving data to an organization that they don't already hold about me, simply because that sometime in the future, they themselves may have a data breach, and that would expose my data, i.e. personal data that they don't already hold unnecessarily. And I just wanted to know what the minimum criteria is for verification purposes. And also, if it is that I need to provide documentation, then how does that relate to me having the right to make things subject access requests orally? Those are the 2 points I'm calling today to gain further clarity on. Would you be able to assist me?
Yes. So to answer your first question, the identification request should be proportionate to the type of data that the organization holds and what it is used for. If you believe that they're asking for excessive amount of data because you believe they don't actually hold as much, then you have the right to object and ask them to review the amount of data they ask for you. You can also object to how they're going to process this data. So this data is only collected for the purpose of your identification, and you can object from any further processing of the data, and you can ask them to erase it as soon as they satisfy the identification process.
Okay. And with regard,
I think that answers both your questions.
with regards to the second question was that I know in legislation I am permitted to make an oral request. Okay.
Yes, so you can. Yes, sorry. So you can make a verbal request. Yes.
I can make a verbal request, and so if I make a verbal request, I'm not there for. I can verify who I am over the telephone. As you know, many organizations that call me, like for example, when my bank calls me, they verify who I am, and that verification process is simply for me to give my name, date of birth, and address. That is adequate. It's just that I've made a subject access request, and the organization are asking for an excessive amount of information, and I wrote back to them saying that the amount of information you're asking for is manifestly excessive because presently you do not hold that information, and for me to provide that verification documentation is not necessary. Can you understand? Because
yes, so you can go back to them with that concern and that justification of why you wouldn't be providing it to them.
Okay.
And why you believe it's excessive. Yes.
So my question was, with regards to the verification process of a subject access request, what is the minimum criteria, or is it subjective to different organizations?
Each organization will set their own security and identification process.
But the principle is that it should be proportionate.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so
it's proportionate to the data that they hold about the individual.
That's correct, yes. So for example, I go into my local shop and they record me on the CCTV camera. I then make a subject access request for my information, namely my recordings. For them to turn around and say, well, passes over your driving license, a copy of your driving license and passport, and a utility bill would be excessive because that is not necessary for them to identify who I am. What they can do is they can ask me to for the date and time that I entered the shop and what recordings was there, and confirm that, verify that way. But to ask for extra information, I'm just a bit apprehensive to do so. And I just wanted to know that I'm right to be apprehensive because the information that they hold. And I mean, for example, if it's my bank, they already hold my copy of my driving license and or a passport because that's what the criteria was to open up a bank account. So I don't mind disclosing information to them because they already hold that information, because that information was the minimum criteria in order for me to open up a bank account. So if they ask for it, I'm quite happy to do so. But if it's like another organization that don't already hold this information, then when they ask, they set their policies that we need to verify who you are, and I don't think that's proportionate. I am within my rights to be apprehensive, yes?
Of course, if you believe that it is excessive and not proportionate to what they hold already, then yeah.
Okay, all right.
You have the right to object and raise your concerns with them.
Okay, so that's the first question fully answered with. With regards to the second question, which was that I am within my rights to make an oral request, and under those circumstances, it is the verification process, therefore ipso facto, must be oral. Or does it need to be? Do I have to then provide them documentation?
You may. It depends on the process that they've set up. They may ask you to for hard copies, yes, or scans or something like that, or electronic copies.
But then, does that not negate my right to make oral requests?
But that's a separate process. You have the right to make a request, but then the response will probably be in writing.
No, obviously, quite clearly, the disclosure has to be in writing, yes. but the verification, it's just that element of
Each organization has their own process for the identification. If they require copies of documents to, or either a passport or driving license, then of course you have to provide that in a hard copy or your paper copy or electronic scan copy. If you call a bank, they have of course like a verbal verification where they ask you questions, security questions and so on. So really it depends on the process of the organization.
Okay.
And if you don't agree with the process, then you have the right to raise the concerns with them.
Okay. So that helps me a little. So I'm within the legislation permits me to make oral requests, and the organization, if handling an oral request, they're within the rights to verify who I am by asking me security questions. Once I pass security, that's verified who I am, isn't it? And that can be done all orally.
Again, it's up to the organization to set up the identification process. If you don't agree, you can raise the concern. So we are going in circles a little bit here, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm just a bit slow, and I just wanted to just verify exactly what the situation is. Now I do understand. So
making a verbal subject access request, and then them requesting your ID verification, so two completely different processes.
I know, but I mean, can you understand
that? So yes, I understand the logic that it may be verbal, but if that's not the process, then they may require you to supply hard copy.
I understand, and that's obviously dependent. But the whole point of making an oral request is so you don't provide documentation.
So that's completely different.
Okay.
You have the right to make a verbal SAR. We always actually recommend to follow it up in writing regardless, and to confirm that you've made verbal one. But then the identification process might be communicated in writing.
Okay, all right. It's just that the principle I mean, I appreciate what you recommend, but the principle behind making an oral request is a far more...
I understand, but you're asking me the question for about third time now, and I don't have any different answer for you.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm asking the question the third time because I'm not clear, you see, and so I'm not gonna.
It's a different thing. This is your right as an individual that you can make a verbal subject access request. Then it's up to the organization to set up the identification verification process, the security measures, and how that is done is up to the organization. The legislation does not say if it's a verbal SAR, it has to be a verbal identification process. There's no such thing in the legislation. It's up to the organization to set those up.
Okay, you've now fully explained it to me. You've now fully explained it to me, and now I fully understand. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry if I've asked the question so many times, but it's just that I needed to get just this issue cleared with, and so the legislation makes provisions for me to make a verbal request, but with regards to verification, it's not mentioned. Exactly, and that's up to them or for me to negotiate with them. That's fine. You've been very helpful.
Yes, exactly. That's the one. Yeah.
So it's up to me to negotiate with them to say that yes, I understand that. Thank you very much.
Just to bear in mind that the verification process has to be proportionate to the type they held, like you said.
Yes.
It needs to make sense.
Yeah, it needs to make sense. Okay, yeah, and that's an argument that I can make because the legislation does not require them to. The legislation is quiet on the point of the verification, and it's up to them and myself to negotiate. Thank you for your patience. Okay.
You're welcome.
You helped me out. Thank you very much. And like I said, sorry to have just gone on about it, but I just need to be perfectly clear, and I now fully understand.
I'm glad I managed to say in a different word. So
okay, thank you very much. You've been most helpful, and you've answered both my questions. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a nice day.